Hello everyone, welcome to the first week of video content for Introduction to Media Studies. This week is all about getting everyone set up with a foundation of material covering ways of thinking about digital media, plus points of tensions and problems associated with those ideas. I look at core concepts in digital media and then explore ways of thinking about technology more generally in the next lecture, which digital media fits within. After that, we move to Pansy Duncan discussing how we imagine digital media, Cy Taffels' discussions of digital history, and finish this week with Ian Goodwin exploring digital cultures. Those videos set us up for next week's discussions of platforms and political economy. This video is designed to remind everyone about key topical issues for how we understand and talk about digital media that came up in 154101. The word digital seems ubiquitous and in practice gets tied to electronic stuff, but actually means that something is made of countable, separate units. In comparison, analog doesn't just mean old or non-electronic, it refers to continuous variations in something like voltage recorded in magnetic waves on magnetic tape for audio cassettes and VHS tapes, or in the grooves on vinyl records. A good example of how these forms differ comes in the form of photography. A 35mm film photograph is an image composed of a continuous series of tones based on a photochemical process. It doesn't have any form of basic unit that it can be broken down into. This is quite different to a digital photograph, which is composed of a given number of pixels, which are tiny squares that become distinctly visible when we zoom into a low-resolution digital image. However, it's worth remembering that some analog media can be broken down into discrete units, like film frames or the panels of a printed comic. This raised questions as to whether the term digital media was actually a useful term, and some of you will remember that the alternative proposed was new media, but at the point that we're calling texts older than all of the lecturers on the course new media, that's clearly stupid, so digital wins by default. Still, given how rare it is for us to work with non-digital media, the question of whether digital is still a useful term is a fair one. Does it signify anything relevant or significant? Digital means the numerical representation of information, and that opens the door to use algorithms to change that information. An algorithm is a predefined step-by-step series of operations, which in this case will alter the binary encoded data in a predictable manner. In essence, a computer is a high-speed idiot that is capable of following instructions very quickly, but can only do what it's told. This means that realms of human endeavor that once took hundreds or thousands of hours of work can be done at the touch of a button. For a really simple example, think of the time saved by copy-pasting pages worth of text in an instant, compared to typing them all out again. Now apply that to more complex things like calculating an average or an addition of thousands of numbers, all of which are now basic spreadsheet functions. This shift is possible because digital information is stored as binary code. A digital photograph is instructions for how to produce that image on a screen, and something as simple as resizing it means the computer creates a new image by applying a command to how the original instructions are interpreted. Digital information can be copied an almost infinite number of times without degrading because it's just duplicating the instructions required for another computer to recreate the same image, music, video, document, or anything else. Analog media doesn't have this flexibility. If you want to recreate an analog photograph, you'll have to apply chemical processes to the original negative as if it were new. Likewise, copying a copy of a document or an image in analog leads to a worse version every time you take a step further away from the original. The fact that computers can treat music, images, video, documents, and three-dimensional models the same way is because they're all data, which is the foundation of convergence culture, moving many different diverse forms of media onto a single platform. Whereas previously we had a range of different physical media formats, like vinyl records and audio cassettes for music and other forms of audio, VHS tapes and 35mm film prints for film or television recordings, newspapers, books and magazines for texts and so on. All of these media forms, along with newer born digital forms such as video games, web pages and software applications can all be stored as binary code on the same disk and are readable by the same hardware. The universalized numerical storage of many types of media as binary code also makes it comparatively straightforward to copy and share media, particularly when coupled with the networked architecture of the internet. Consequently, digital media has been challenging some of the cultural norms around digital distribution, such as using technology like BitTorrent. It's been possible for millions of users to share content in ways that are illegal under copyright laws. So what we see is that storing media as numerical data on computers has a number of affordances which depart from previous models of mass media. They can make media production and distribution much quicker and easier. They can allow more people to participate in making media. They can allow for the automation of tasks that would otherwise require enormous amounts of labor. And they can challenge previous laws and cultural norms. As such, digital is still a foundationally useful term for understanding major recent changes to human society. The next video explores some of these ideas from a new angle and in some cases more depth as we look at how humans relate to technology and tools more generally.